Oh, there's somebody new. I've never seen them before. Oh, they've got some pins for sale. Oh, that Yzma pin is cool. I'm just going to buy the one. There's no purpose in buying more. Let me message them. And that is what you do not do. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to our home. Today I want to give you the final 6 keys to success in getting great pins at a great price. So thank you all for joining us. Today I want to talk to you about the final 6 keys to success when trying to get great pins at a great price. So if you haven't already seen our other 2 videos, there'll be an iCard for each of those right here that you can click on. Part 1 will be the first steps. Part 2, obviously, the second steps. And then today's video is part 3, the final steps to making sure you get great pins at a great price. So step number 1 today is research your seller. In other words, once you've gone to the process and you've gotten on to whatever platform you're going to buy from, whoever you're going to buy, you find somebody, you've talked to them, you're in the middle of a deal, take a moment or 2 and look at their page and make sure that they're not brand new to Facebook. Because if they are, for instance, and I'm assuming you're buying from Facebook if you're doing it there. If you're on eBay, obviously you'll look and see what their seller history is. Same for Amazon, things like that. But on Facebook, you'll want to make sure they're not brand new. I mean, obviously, if you find somebody and they've got a brand new profile that's all new, that's a little sketchy. I mean, you want to have somebody who has a little bit of history online. It assures you, or at least gives you better reason to believe that they're a legitimate person, not someone scamming, and that they have some stock in their Facebook profile. My number 2 key is ask why they are selling the pins. This does 2 things. Some people, they're just out there trying to market pins and make a profit. They'll go to the park, they'll take some junk into the park, they'll trade it, and then they'll come out and they'll try and sell all the pins that they can sell off of that. And if that's what you want to buy, that's fine. But ask them. That way you know. You may be finding someone who's had a relative pass away and they're selling off the pins. You may find someone who's just getting a divorce and they're getting rid of pins. That's happened to me before. Both of those have actually happened. You may find someone who just has gotten tired of that hobby and they're getting ready to get rid of their pins. Or you may find someone who's got a new stage in their life. Maybe they're having a child, they're getting married, and they're going to sell their pins. Both of those are also real situations that either I or friends of mine have encountered. So ask, because it helps build your relationship with them and it lets you know more about their backstory, who they are as a person, and what's going on in their life. It just helps with the whole process, building rapport. Number 3, remember who you are. Oh wait, this isn't the Lion King. Remember your purchase reason. In other words, what oftentimes will happen to me is I'll be in there and I'll be looking and I'll find all sorts of cool pins, and all of a sudden my whole reason for getting online to look for pins is out the window, and I'm just trying to buy stuff that I like for my personal collection. And that's great if that's what I'm after. But if I'm on there and I'm trying to gain traders that I'm going to trade at maybe the next pin event, or maybe with people in the park, or whatever reason, maybe I'm going to trade it just with cast members in the park, and I'm just looking for cheap pins. Well, I don't want to get on there and get lulled into in my looking to buy pins for my personal collection. That's 2 separate ideas that you're going for. So remember why you got on there to look for in the first place. Number 4, ask for unlisted pins. In other words, let's say I was going to sell off a bunch of pins. Well, obviously, I'm not going to list all these pins in one listing. So what I might do is throw a couple of, pictures of pins out there of 20 or 30 pins each picture, and I might say, well, here's some pins I'm selling just to see how things are going. But that doesn't mean that those were my best pins, first off, and it doesn't mean that they were my worst pins either, but it does mean that it's a test run. Well, if I comment on that and I talk to somebody about it, and maybe I'm interested in some of those, or maybe I'm not that interested, but just spark up a conversation, I may then start asking them about other pins that they might have for sale. And one thing leads to the next, and they're like, yeah, I've got other pins. And all of a sudden, I'm getting some pins that I did not even know existed. Maybe in general, but certainly existed in that listing. But now I've got access to it. And oftentimes, it's things that other people haven't picked over, haven't already seen. And so you might be able to get some real gems that way. And so that's always a real good way of finding maybe a hidden gem in the mix, is to ask for, or ask if they're listing or they're going to have other pins for sale that maybe they don't already have. Likewise, maybe you're looking at other merchandise. My friend Lance, he suggested this as a tip. He said sometimes he'll be looking at things like, maybe a piece of memorabilia, a picture, or any other type of Disney merchandise that someone's selling online. And it could be anything. It could be Funko Pops or whatever. And you talk to them about that item. Well, you can always still say, hey, I collect Disney pins. Do you have that? Do you have any of those that you're going to sell? And sometimes people will say, you know what, I didn't think about selling that, but here, I do have some. Let me send some pictures to you. And that oftentimes works real well also. So ask for unlisted pins. They may have them. Number 5, ask if they will take less. Just because they wrote a price out there doesn't necessarily mean, first off, that the pin is worth that much. Secondly, they may already have it in mind that they're going to ask $5, but they're willing to take $4 for a pin or for each pin. And so, especially if you're getting larger quantities of pins, ask them for a discount. After all, you're doing them the favor of not having to package it up 4 or 5 different times and have to worry about shipping it to 4 or 5 different locations. You're solving major problems for them in selling pins. And so you're getting them to ship it to one location. And so always ask if they're willing to take less, unless you feel like you're already getting a wonderful deal on the pin. If you haven't heard anything else, remember this. Always, when you pay with PayPal and use goods and services. You do not want to be lulled into the idea that you should use Venmo if you don't already have a relationship with somebody, because there's no buyer protection. You also don't want to get sucked into the idea that, we'll give you a discount if you'll pay with PayPal and pay with friends and family. That's always a bad idea, because what'll happen is eventually you're going to find somebody who doesn't send you the right pins or send you pins at all, and you will have paid them. And if you paid with friends and family or Venmo, you lost your money. But if you pay with goods and services, then you can file a report with PayPal, and it may take a few days, but you will eventually get your money back, because then they know that that's a seller and you're an unhappy buyer. That's called buyer protection on PayPal. So always consider that. So let's recap. You have key number 1, which is research your seller. Key number 2, ask why they are selling. Key number 3, remember your purchase reason, why you're purchasing it. Number 4, ask for unlisted pins. They may have some for sale and they just haven't gotten around to listing them. Key number 5, ask if they will take less. Oftentimes, they already have it in their mind that they're willing to take less. Key number 6, always use PayPal, goods and services. The only way I would ever say not using PayPal goods and services is if you've already built a long-lasting relationship with somebody or you already know them personally. Other than that, there is no reason to not do that. So those are my 6 keys, making a total of 16 keys to success in how to get great pens at a great price. If you missed the first 2 videos, we'll put them up a second time in this video right here that you can click those links and go catch those other keys to protect yourself and find great pens at a great price. So thank you for watching. If you want to hear more from us, you can check us out on Instagram and on Facebook at Managing Mickey. And then you can also find us at our website, managingmickey.com. And until next time, from our house to yours.